All right, it's Monday, July 28th. I'm going to buy some SPY 645 puts at 825 right here. And I'm going to play the liquidity to the downside at a minimum and maybe a little more than that. That's kind of what I see price action wise. If you look at the 15-minute chart, I know, if you really think about it, we're above the midpoint of the prior day. We're green. We're heading higher. We gapped up overnight, but then we kind of opened up much lower near the low of the previous day. We paused for 2 bars, had a green bar here. I was watching that bar closely, see if we got follow through from there instead of immediately buying it. And then I see kind of a sharp sell-off back through the midpoint of kind of that first bar. So it seems to me this market at the moment, even if it wants to head higher, wants to kind of probe lower first, maybe take out like a double bottom here, low of the day. We still have the pre-market lows and this little pivot here from yesterday, the close of yesterday that we can head below. We still have a long way to go to really start, a deeper pullback, and the trend is still up, but we did on the weekly chart kind of do all we had to do here was take out the high of the previous week, and it is possible we might want to grind a little lower into the midpoint of this bar on the weekly chart. We haven't had, we're exhaustion risk, and that's kind of what's driving this trade for me, that we did test the high the previous week. The opening price action doesn't look particularly strong. I'm watching some other stocks that are pulling back a little bit, so I can just envision a little bit of a pullback here and maybe a little more than that to start the week, and we can hold in here and then eventually have a good buy signal to the upside. And of course it's possible that we get some momentum to the upside here, and if so, I'll take us kind of a small loss. But I get the feeling here that we want to kind of, even though we're trying to head higher, you can see here from the sell-off pre-market, a little bit of exhaustion risk, and any move up seems to want to bring in selling. So let's see if we kind of get a push lower here and set up a no-risk kind of trade, and then see if maybe it becomes a little reversal to start the week to the downside. There's a lot of earnings this week, so I don't know if the market wants to really have momentum up before those earnings. So I get the feeling, it's the type of environment where there'll be some sell-offs to the downside, to bring in the buying as opposed to the momentum to the upside. So let's see if that unfolds here. I'm going to take a chance and kind of expect a little bit lower prices at some point today, and then see how the rest, see how the day ends, and see if that, what kind of start the week gets off to.